Welcome to TK Outdoors, no BS reviews and content.
Welcome to review the Mac 360, this one affectionately known as Big Mac. I own this boat for about 2 years now, so I think it's time to give it a good review and let you guys know what I think. For this review, we'll start off with some specs, we'll move into an overview, then pros and cons, and we'll finish with some closing thoughts. Time for the specs. We all love a good spec list. So length of boat, 3.6 metres, take 3 people. Horsepower is 5 to 25. This one's got 30 on the back. I wouldn't go up to 30 without having the aluminium on the transom there. Second hand, you're looking at 6,000 to 8,000, sometimes cheaper. It's got a lower horsepower motor, and brand new you're looking at around 12,000 up to 16,000 depending on what sort of motor's on the back, and that's for the high side variant. Weight, so you got 115 kgs for the hull, 51 for the motor, 25 for fuel, add 10 for other things, you're looking at about 201 kgs, which is pretty hefty for a small boat of this size. I'll give you a bit of an overview. To start, we'll go from tip to butt, or bow to stern. So bow here, got the anchor cleat, and then we've got this little storage container, which is great for keeping your anchor and your tow ropes in there. If you don't want things rolling down the length of the boat, you'll need to put something to block it. I just siliconed in place a little piece of wood. As you can see here, we've got these lovely handles, stainless steel, super strong, good for pushing the boat around while beach launching. Real handy when you're diving to flop in and out of front and back as well. Next up, these beautiful wooden seats. We've got these again front and back, about 1.5 inches thick, and they've held up well, just varnished and stained those. Very important. Got the fuel tank up the front sitting under the seat here. Now this boat is like a kite. The bow just lifts up when you get on the throttle, so you need to put as much weight as you can up front. Another good idea is to put your weight belts when diving up in with the anchor. Under the back seat here, previous owners added some storage. It's a pretty good idea with such a small boat. It gives you a place to put little things like a multi-tool, spare ripcord, spare bungs, kill cord, that sort of thing. Alright, so what we have here is what I call the bling box. This houses the electrical and the battery. We've got the Garmin Striker sitting on top of it. It's a great position for it. Out of the way, you can still swing the tiller, no dramas, doesn't hit it. Also very importantly, we've got the bilge pump back here. Now, if you're going to have one of these boats, you're going to need a bilge pump. Okay, I've seen boats come in with water, or just below this bolt here. When you're heading into a headwind, you got a bit of slop, all the water sprays out, comes straight back in. Okay, so it's very important. I've had to put my dive goggles on, had this pumping the whole time. That's a horrendous day, but it's an example of why you need a bilge pump in this boat. You're not going to be able to keep scooping the whole time, it just won't work. Right, on the back here we've got the Mercury 2-stroke 30 horsepower. I wouldn't go anything less on this boat personally. With 3 people on this boat, it still sort of struggles to get up on the plane. 2 people, hops up fine, no dramas. Top speed, 24 knots, about 46 kilometers an hour. That's with 2 people on it and a bit of a light load on that one. But she certainly hums along, and she's fairly fuel efficient. Basically, on this little boat, just sips away at the fuel. For me, I'm roughly getting about 25 kilometers for 10 litres out of it, so I reckon that's pretty good for a 2-stroke. Yeah, I've had this thing on pretty big journeys, gone out and around Kapiti Islands, sort of heaps of large lake crossings and that sort of thing. Sometimes a little bit hard to pull start in the cold, or if you sort of screw up your first pull. But other than that, she gets going first rip most times. It's definitely a reliable motor, and I really trust it. Alright, most important part, pros and cons. The biggest pro of this has been the polyethylene. It's naturally buoyant, got double skins, so even if you put a hole in the bottom, you should still float. It won't rust and corrode, super easy to clean. Got lots of blood on it, just hose it off, it's no dramas. Petrol and things don't affect it, won't stain. I reckon it's about 5 times as impact resistance as a fiberglass boat. The only thing I note on the strength part is that sharp objects scar it quite easily. That's pretty easy to fix if you just get a plastic welder, which is pretty good to go. Another one for this boat, been super stable. I've demonstrated that in a few videos, but you can have 3 divers on one side flopping in and out, and she's all good. Can't do that with a fry under or anything like that. This boat's super quiet. The polyethylene naturally flexes a little bit as you're boating along. You don't get that pounding sound like you do with tin. It's pretty nice dull noise, pretty similar to fiberglass. Alright, more importantly in the pros, time for the cons. This boat is heavy for the size, it's ridiculous. You're dreaming if you think you're going to get you and your mates to pick up the boat without the motor, carry it down to the beach. You'd need at least 4 people to do it, and then this boat can only take 3 anyway. You have to leave one of your mates sitting on the beach, big sad. Another problem with the weight is you need high horsepower, so that factors into the cost. Right, this boat is wet. It's actually very impressive how good the pontoons are at kicking out the water and putting it back into the boat. It's really amazing. So we've got the lower transom. Yeah, I don't know why they made the transom so low. Every time you come to a stop, it's going to be real slow, otherwise water just washes straight over. And also these seats at the back here, as soon as you get into reverse accelerate, they scoop up the water straight over the transom. You can easily flood the boat in a couple of seconds if you gave it a good bit of gas. So this one's a double-edged sword. So you've got the low sides. Due to the low sides, water can come in a bit easier. The other fact is that they're real easy to hop in and out of as a diver. It's a breeze, you just roll in and out. So comparing this boat to something like a rib would be a lot lighter. This size, like 75 kg, so that's a big saving already. Taking about 6 people on it. Not comfortably, but it'll still float with 6 people on it. This thing would probably be underwater at that point. Obviously with this, it's a bit stronger than a rib. You can stab it, it's fine. You don't have to worry about popping the bladders. You don't have to worry about replacing them down the road. Comparing this to an aluminum pontoon boat, biggest thing that this has over it is cost. It's simply just cheaper. An aluminium boat, same size, same motor on it, it's going to be more expensive. These boats are ridiculously cheap and just as durable. The aluminium boat also has the advantage of being lighter as well. So like I said in the title, is it the best $10,000 dive boat? I think so. You know, you can pick these up for $4,000 with maybe a 15 horse on the back of them second hand, super affordable. And then to beat that in terms of capability, you've got to spend way more money. Yeah, these second hand are a bloody steal. I highly recommend them. Thanks for coming, and on your way out, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe.